What's going on, guys? Thank you for tuning back into the channel. If you are new, welcome to the channel. Today I'm going to be talking about Nuremberg, starring Rami Malek, Russell Crowe, John Slattery, Richard E. Grant, and Michael Shannon. Nuremberg is about Douglas Kelly, a psychologist who arrives in Nuremberg, Germany after the end of World War II to evaluate Hermann Goring, the second in command of Adolf Hitler in World War II, and whether or not he is fit enough to stand trial at Nuremberg. This is a movie that unfortunately nobody's going to go see. I miss these types of movies being events. I wish people would go see it, and I wish studios would actually take the time to market these movies. And it doesn't really make any sense as to why they wouldn't. You had Oppenheimer a couple years ago, a big historical drama that made millions of dollars at the box office. And I get it. It was paired with Barbie. It was the whole Barbenheimer phenomenon. Of course, like that's a big part of it too. But that movie proved that historical dramas can succeed in a theatrical landscape. And unfortunately, studios I feel like have taken all the wrong lessons from that because they're not marketing movies like Nuremberg. This really dates back to how I feel with The Last Duel. The Last Duel is a movie that should not have bombed. That is a great movie. Nobody went to go see it. Historical dramas just for some reason either aren't marketed or just are out of the norm now. In the 90s and early 2000s, this movie would have made bank at the box office. I can guarantee you that because people actually wanted to pay attention to historical dramas. What did historical dramas have to say about periods in history? And unfortunately, everybody's just so consumed with technology and everything has to be punchy, kicky, actiony nowadays that you just can't sell a movie like this and you can't really market it. So I kind of understand from the studio standpoint what they're doing here with Nuremberg, but I do wish that they marketed it more because I really liked Nuremberg. I thought that this was a good movie and it's got fantastic performances from Rami Malek and Russell Crowe. It is beautifully shot by Darius Wolski, the DP on many Spielberg movies and the first four Pirates of the Caribbean movies. You have such amazing talents here in front of the camera and behind the camera that unfortunately nobody's going to take into consideration going to see this movie. Now, is that me really saying that Nuremberg is like the greatest historical drama of all time? Absolutely not. I have my issues with Nuremberg, but let's get into the positives because, like I said, I think Rami Malek is really good in the movie. I'm not the biggest Rami Malek fan, but he conveys the emotions that Douglas Kelly has to convey in certain scenes really well. There's not much of a character there, and that's part of the larger problem with the movie. There's not as much of an emotional resonance in terms of the characters in this movie, but when they are given those moments, you could see how committed people like Rami Malek and Russell Crowe. And I'm glad Russell Crowe gives a great performance in this movie because Russell Crowe has been really on and off in the past few years. He's really, really good when you want him to be. But now, later in his career, he's taken some really terrible scripts, maybe not have had the best performances. When Russell Crowe really wants to act, he will act. And when he doesn't want to act, if he didn't want to act in this movie, he would have turned this into something very goofy. And I'm glad he didn't. He actually gave a committed performance in this. And Darius Wolski shoots this really well. This is very beautifully shot. Lots of landscape shots that really just capture the levity and the uneasiness of putting war criminals on trial like this. Darius Wolski is such a master when it comes to shooting a movie. And thank God, because of Spielberg, we know who this guy is. He can capture period drama so well. He's perfect for it. And you can look at this as a history lesson. If you've never known about the Nuremberg trials after World War II, this will essentially be your cliff notes. There's obviously going to be historical inaccuracies. They're going to leave out a lot. I can let the movie slide for that because it is a historical drama. Would this have worked better as maybe like a 4 or 5 part miniseries? Probably. And you could have dove into more of what made Douglas Kelly tick. And obviously, the things that Hermann Goring admits later on in the movie. There's some disturbing imagery. There's a scene towards the end of the movie that you'll probably be looking away at. The absolute shock of the authenticity that you are watching is kind of the scariest part of that scene. And there's many more scenes like that in this movie. The movie went there. I got to give them props. I do think where this movie stumbles is the emotional resonance. There's not a lot here in terms of character development. There's even one character that Rami Malek meets on a train, one of the first scenes of the movie. This character feels like an extra, but she comes back around later, doesn't have anything to do, probably in a good 2 minutes of the movie. And the reason this character exists is just to act as a plot device in one scene to progress a part of the plot forward. I wasn't a big fan of that. And then, of course, you have the emotional resonance part where you're not really latching on to characters. You don't feel as if you care about anything that is really happening, aside from you hoping that Hermann Goring actually does get convicted of war atrocities, as he should. Yeah, there's a lack of emotional resonance with this movie. The only thing they really give Rami Malek in this movie, who plays Douglas Kelly, is he likes doing magic tricks with cards. That's it. That's really all he has. Where they could have maybe used more of that time to delve into what made Douglas Kelly tick in real life, because in real life, he was like an alcoholic, and the movie doesn't really touch on that at all. So, yeah, you're going to get the bare bones of a historical drama. You're just going to really get essentially what you need to know. You're not going to take a deep dive into anything. I can let the movie slide for that, though. I just think it needed more of an emotional resonance, and I wish that some characters weren't just treated as plot devices, but this is a really good movie, if you ask me. I wish more people would go see it, and I wish studios would actually take the chance to market these movies and make them feel like, hey, you have to see this. This is the next big movie event. Please go see it. I think Nuremberg is really good with a full bucket of popcorn. I don't want to say I enjoyed it with a full bucket of popcorn, because I don't want to enjoy watching atrocities about the Holocaust and World War II and all that. But it actually, this is a movie that actually made me read up on the Nuremberg trials a lot more, and the background of Hermann Goring and how he operated in World War II as Hitler's second in command. It's insane how evil those people were. But you're not going to get all that in the movie. You're going to get all that if you do a deep rabbit hole on the internet. So please, if you are interested in history, I think that this is an important movie to see, especially with the current landscape of the world that is happening around us right now, that unfortunately studios just are gonna bury and audiences aren't gonna see. I wish we were still in that time where historical dramas were just making bank at the box office. When you do see Nuremberg, let me know what you think of it. I will leave my link to my website in the description below as well. You guys are the best. Thank you for watching. My name is Alex Madden, and I will see you at the movies somewhere.